Do you see generative AI maturing in the same way as machine learning?
I do see it maturing to a point. I think that if you go back in time, you look at where machine learning's come from, if you look at its sort of roots, when you had individual data scientists who had come up with a theory, they would come up with mathematical calculations to prove that theory and then take that forward in some kind of machine learning model and then test that over time. That was quite manual. Nowadays, you have a lot more libraries, models you can pull out and you can put together. You can automate it all. So if you look at where machine learning has come from, it's come a long way. AI is not there. But if you look at where it's going about investment, you look at things like Microsoft with Copilot, obviously, and off-the-shelf AI toolset that's designed to be used for the rest of the business, then it has come a long way. It's not there yet. It's nowhere near the finished article. It's got a long way to go. But also with things, some of the tool sets you have around it, such as watsonx and the AI governance models you need around it, they're coming to the forefront now as well. So the level of maturity is growing. It's not there yet. Will it ever get there? I'm not sure in the same way. But then machine learning's still got a way to go as well. So, MLOps, AIOps, we go away.
Yeah. I think it's a really interesting debate. There's a few different perspectives on this, because when I look at machine learning and its maturity, the thing that stands out to me as the bit that's really mature is actually the use cases, the things that says this is how I'm going to use machine learning, whether that's predictive maintenance or demand forecasting or customer segmentation, these kinds of things, where it's not just the technology that's mature, it's and the algorithms and the automations and systems around it, and how those models are developed and deployed, etc. It's the fact that there's actually a really clear process for implementing them. Like, this is what you should use it for. This is how you should use it. This is how it should inform your decision making, for example. That's the bit that I think is the most important. It's not just the maturity of the technology, but the maturity now of the use cases and the way that organizations should use it and know how to use it competently and appropriately and sensibly, etc. I think with generative AI, the technology itself is quite mature. It's actually been around for quite a long time. The thing that changed was how easy it was to access with some of the sort of the chatbot interfaces, etc. But the actual kind of LLM technology itself is fairly mature. But I think the use cases around it are still very much immature. There are some good things that we're seeing. The one that's been the most successful, I think, is probably the code support you can get for developers, so they can code much more quickly. But what you still see is that they still need to validate that themselves with their own expertise. So yeah, even there, I think there's still a lot of room for maturity. Yeah. I think from that point of view, I think it will settle down in terms of the best ways to use it, and there definitely are some good use cases for it. But yeah, that's still, I think the extent to which it's matured in machine learning there's still a lot of aspiration and gaps there for generative AI.
I think touching on the point about the use case side, I think it's a really good point. And if you take that into the feedback loop stage, i.e. we had a use case, did we add value? Machine learning's maturity and the fact it was very quantifiable meant you could almost prove that feedback investment to go, yes, this was worth it. We saved 10%, 1%, whatever that number is with that. AI, because it's got a wider kind of influence and it's a little bit less tangible in many cases, it's hard to prove that unless you're talking about, there are some hard numbers such as, people counts and things like that, but it's very hard to prove that. And until it can be done in a very accurate way, touching back to that use case point, it's difficult to complete the loop back and go, yes, this is a mature product, we can invest it in this way and we'll see this gain. So, yeah.
Excellent.